My husband, 34M, and I, 29F, are expecting our first child. He is an only child, and his mother, 65F, is over the moon excited. She lives about a mile away, and my husband and I both work, so she has made a nursery at her house for baby to stay. More on that later. Her and I have an okay relationship, not antagonistic, but we are wildly different. Ago. I was raised by a Gen X, cool mum, where we talked about everything, and I was raised to be independent. We have our fights, but it's healthy, open communication. When I make a decision or set a boundary, as an adult, that's respected without question in my family. My MIL is a more typical, traditional mum, very doting on her son who was a perfect angel. In reality, he was just good at not getting caught and telling his mum what she wanted to hear. I give the context because the mismatch between how I'm used to communicating and how her and her son communicate is part of the problem. Now the story. My MIL is a Trump supporter. My husband and I are very much not. We live in a conservative southern state, and I'm no stranger to Republicans. Some of my closest family members are Republicans, but none of them are Trump believers like my MIL. Even if they were, they respect me too much to talk about it because they know where I stand. I usually try and do the same for my MIL and steer conversations away from politics when I can. It is hurtful to me that she is voting against my rights. My state outright bans abortion. Every time I go to the doctor, I'm afraid something is wrong with the baby and, as a result, I will die. I'm trying not to let her political beliefs affect how I see her, but it's hard. That's when she sends me pictures of the nursery. She's done an elephant theme. Hanging on the wall is a painting with the Republican Stars and Stripes elephant. I had heard about this from my husband beforehand but didn't realize how prominent it was. She told him, I had to. I'm a Republican. When I first heard, I immediately freaked out. I think it's inappropriate to put anything political in a nursery. I know there will be some hard conversations down the road when it comes to what conversations I do/don't want had with my kid. What I don't want on TV, ECT. Republican signage over the crib feels like a bad omen. My husband's attitude is to pick his battles. He has no problem fighting with his mum if she crosses a line, but doesn't see the picture as a big deal. Me? I feel that if a small thing is a point of contention, what's going to happen when it's a major boundary that needs to be set? He was fine with me handling the situation how I saw fit. I sent this message. The room looks great, but I can't say I like the Republican elephant hanging up there. I get y'all are, but I'm very much the opposite and don't really want that around my kid. Do you think we can take that down? It'd make me feel more comfortable. I got zero response. This isn't the first time where I've sent a message setting a boundary and gotten radio silence. Or we'd have a conversation over the phone, and I'd think everything was resolved until my husband talked to her and she's still upset. To give my husband credit, he's not defending her in any way or taking her side over mine. He's just used to ignoring her and I'm used to hashing things out. He's out of town, but when he gets back he plans on visiting in person and setting things straight. First I need to know though, am I overreacting by being this bothered? Does the situation actually warrant fighting with my MIL? I do not want to set a precedent of me being uncomfortable with something and saying nothing where my child is concerned. ETA minor update. Just a couple of points I clarified in comments I want up top. My MIL has made a baby room at HR house. We have our own nursery at our house that I'm decorating how I want. We were gifted 2 cribs and they have an empty bedroom, so I had no issue. But there was no discussion prior. I never asked my male to babysit. She assumed she would babysit when I returned to work, which is okay. She's retired and lives close by. I have no problem, before all this, with her being a part of my baby's life. We are not in a spot where her providing childcare is make or break. I work from home and have a flexible schedule. It'd be inconvenient, but MIL babysitting a few mornings a week is more for her than us. I don't hate my MIL. I don't think she's a bad person. She raised a son who is a wonderful husband and will be a great dad. She didn't force beliefs when raising him. It's a situation a lot of us are facing with our parents. 8 years of Fox News and the cult of Trump changing people we love into someone else. I am trying to see the best in my MIL and not hurt her in this situation. But nobody's feelings come before what I think is best for my child. Today I spoke with my husband about my concerns. He agreed that his mother needs to talk with me when I have concerns and follow any rules I set forth. He called her but didn't think it'd be a fight, because he believes in his mum. It did not go well. He is out of town, but when he gets home tomorrow, he is going over there to have it out. In his words, I'm handling it. Relevant comments. OP. on her MIL, providing childcare, and installing some political-related stuff in the nursery. Books. OP. I think the idea is that she'll be taking care of baby after I return to work. I work from home, but it would still be for a few hours a day, so I don't mind her setting up the room. They are also retired with no other kids/grandkids, so this baby is the most exciting thing happening in her life. It's a lot though. We had issues with her asking invasive questions when I was trying to get pregnant. There was also an argument over the baby shower. I wanted a small gathering at home. She wanted a big event and was upset. I said no. And what you said about, what else will she teach your baby, is spot on and my real concern. OOP's thoughts on the nursery at her MIL's house. OP. This is the nursery at her house. It's not about the elephant at the end of the day. It's how willing are you to follow the boundaries I set around my kid. If baby isn't even here yet and you're not willing to budge on something small, that doesn't make me feel confident my parenting choices will be respected in your house. In that case, I get to decide that baby won't be staying at grandmother's house as much as she thinks. That's really the nuclear option and I'm not trying to go there. Hence why I'm so worked up, because I'm not trying to cut anyone out without trying to make things better first. OP responds to multiple questions about using her MIL as free childcare. OP. I think something that's being missed is, I never actually asked my MIL to watch the baby. I never asked her to make a baby room, it's all stuff she kinda just assumed. Now, if I say, actually, we don't need childcare, she will be crushed. This is my first kid, and I'm the only one of my friends to have kids, so I'm missing what a normal level of involvement is for a grandparent. I really expected when I asked her to take the picture down, she just would. My husband reassured me that she would not step out of line because she knows he will chew her out and she won't see the baby. Now I don't think that. At the very least, she sees him as the authority on the child and not me. OP attacking her MIL's views. OP? I actually don't. I don't attack her for her views. She's said some racist, ignorant things in my presence, and I still go over with a smile on my face and try and maintain a relationship. That's different when my kid is in the picture. I'm not asking her to change her beliefs at all. They don't need to be present when my kid is around. If they can demand teachers not disclose their sexuality, religion, or politics, why can't I expect the same? OP posted the updates in the same post. October 28, 2024, next day. Update number 2. I just heard my husband's side. He spoke with his mum for 30 minutes on the phone and it was a disaster. Anyone saying this was a way of her testing boundaries, you were right. It started with MIL acknowledging she read my text but didn't respond because she didn't think it was a big deal. He said, well, it is a big deal for my wife and this needs to be resolved. She then goes into how we could use this as a teaching moment for how to be accepting. He reminded his mum she knows what our politics are and she knew exactly what she was doing putting that up. The conversation then devolved into name-calling. At one point she called him a fascist and said he needed to grow some balls if the picture bothered him instead of making it an issue, when his wife said it was an issue. Very typical. Your wife is the bad guy trying to keep her away from grandbaby. As you can guess, this didn't go over well. He made it clear that her issue is not with me. Now that MIL disrespected his wife, he's got a problem with her. I, wife, have given MIL a lot of slack and not jumped down her throat for the offensive things she's said. It's MIL that is putting politics over family. It was never about the elephant. He wasn't worried at first about her respecting our rules, but with how she's acting, he knows it's a problem. Conversation cut off there, but he is going over there in person tomorrow to start it right back up. He made it clear to MIL this is not her child and she does not have decision-making power. Quote, I'll update tomorrow if there's any big developments, but as of right now I feel validated that something was indeed off, and I'm grateful that my husband and I are on the same page and supporting each other.